Alright guys, and welcome back to Forza Motorsport 6. This is Car Wars episode 7, and in today's episode we see the Caparo T1 go head to head against the Radical SR8 RX at Watkins Glen. First up we have the Caparo T1. The Caparo T1 is a track focused car with 575 brake horsepower and 310 pounds-foot of torque. It only weighs 1,482 pounds and therefore it should be incredibly quick and agile around the circuit. First corner and I messed that up big time. That's alright, we're continuing to go on, we didn't lose much time in that corner. Coming up in through here, we're sitting about 155 miles per hour. This car of course is incredibly balanced. Being rear wheel drive with 575 horsepower, we may have some instances where we could easily spin out on the corner. Going down and through here, we're actually holding a lot of speed through these corners, and there's one of the main problems with all the track focused cars in this game. Too much grip on the front, not enough on the back, and the cars will oversteer and drift quite easily. On the smaller tracks like Long Beach, with all the power, if you are driving without any assists and you give it full throttle, the car will usually spin the back tyres and it will go sideways. As per usual, we are doing 3 laps on this track, or well, on. That is what usually will happen if you put too much power down in a corner. The car will spin out, and we've just hit the wall. Of course, this is a car I don't drive very often, so I am still getting used to how it feels on track. Of course, with such a high-powered car, which is light and has very little downforce on the back, these problems are quite common. And I fucking spun out again. Jesus Christ! Oh my god! What the fuck? Right now, this is bullshit. Wow, this whole video is going to be me failing at going around this one fucking corner. Right. As you can see there, it is very common in this car, if you are driving without any traction control assists on, that the car will spin out incredibly easy. But once you get up to speed, the downforce on this car really comes into play and pushes the car down onto the floor with a lot of force. The faster speed corners, such as this one, the car is much easier, and I fucked it all up again. Wow, this episode's bollocks right now at the minute. This is fucking ridiculous. Holy shit. The car's still in one piece, so we might get lap 3 in with an efficient time. It's just a fucking handful, this car, so it is. It's a really hard car to master, and once you do, it's quite a good car. Hopefully the Radical is a little bit easier to drive, as it actually has less power than this car. Trying at half throttle seemed to work. You're 2 seconds slower that lap, which is unfortunate. You usually expect your second lap to be somewhat quicker than your first. We're coming down here, as I said previously, whenever the downforce on this car comes into play, it's such an easy car to drive, and it's quite an enjoyable car to drive. But in the corners, it's just not a very nice car to be driving. There again, the car started to get a wee bit unbalanced and a bit wobbly, but luckily I was able to correct that. Coming down here, we're 4 seconds faster that sector, which is nice to see. Obviously we couldn't have got any slower on compared to last lap. It was horse shit. Last corner and coming across the line at some point. And we're coming across the line with a 1:02.917. It's not a bad time. It should have been better. It could have been better, but of course it's the first time I've had this car at this track, and it's actually the first time I've driven this car in a race. Holy shit. I would usually play with this car in free play mode or test drive mode. It's the first time I've actually had it at a circuit under race conditions. So yeah, I think I actually done pretty well with a 1 minute 2 seconds. Now it'll be the turn of the Radical SR8 RX. So I'll see you back when we've got that car on track. Alright guys, and it's the turn of the Radical SR8 RX. This car of course has 460 brake horsepower and 260 foot-pounds of torque, so it is quite underpowered compared to the Caparo T1, but this car of course is 49 pounds lighter than the Caparo T1. With the decrease in horsepower, I assume this car might be somewhat easier to drive. Also, in my opinion, this car just looks 10 times better. It looks more like a road car built for the track. Of course, these cars are actually road legal, I believe. Coming down here, we're actually slower by a fraction when compared to the Caparo T1, but so far the corners haven't thrown up many difficulties. Well, in the 2 corners that we've done, and yes, this car is very light in the rear end, so even through that corner it started to get a bit unhappy with the amount of throttle I was putting it under. But hopefully this car is more balanced and suited to a more novice driver, so we may be able to get this car around the track much more easily. The gears are very short, I have to admit. I'm not really liking that, they're incredibly short. And already we're 1 minute 12, we're like fucking 6 seconds off the Caparo T1's first lap, which isn't good. It's not exactly a very good standing to be at with this car. Coming up in through here, the car just is nowhere near as fast as that Caparo T1. It's quite unfortunate really, because it's a very nice looking car, but it's really only topping out at about 170 miles per hour, which is unfortunate. The thing is, it's not exactly that much better through the corners either. So where they've lost out in top speed, they aren't exactly replacing it with cornering efficiency either. It's still a bit unstable through the corners. But it's much easier to drive when compared to the Caparo T1. I can't say that for a fact. Through that corner, that's just unfortunate. That was a bit of well, that was mostly my fault there. Across the line at a 107. It's not bad. We're still at 5 seconds off the Caparo T1's fastest lap. This car just is nowhere near the performance level of the Caparo T1. But I have to admit, it does sound a very nice car. It's very nice to drive, it's easy to drive. But I would say with much more speed, this car would be a lot better matched to the Caparo T1. Even through that sector, we're still about 4.5 seconds faster. So maybe we may be able to get this lap time down and maybe even match the Caparo T1's time. Wow, that was actually a lot of fun. Oh, that was so enjoyable. So that's what I mean, this car is just so much easier to drive, it's so much easier to control on track. Through that corner, I'm not exactly the best drifter, but I was somewhat able to hold a certain amount of angle with this car. Obviously with a track focused car, you don't really want it to be drifting or stepping out at all. And we're across the line actually with a 1:08. But my best lap time was still a 1:12. Forza, what the fuck was it? What? Apparently the fastest lap time was indeed a 1:12, but I could swear to fuck that was not correct. Yeah, god damn, I don't even know what the fuck's going on. Yeah, so the Caparo T1 definitely beat the Radical SR8 RX. That was unfortunate. I was kind of hoping that the Radical would have won that race. But yeah, the Caparo T1, in conclusion, it's a really fast car. It's a bit of a bastard in the corners. It just doesn't want to go around the corners. When you are trying to put it around it, it's not easy. The Radical's a much easier car to drive, So maybe on a smaller circuit, such as Long Beach, it would be much easier because you're not exactly going to be spinning up the wheels as much. You're not going to be spinning out. But whenever it comes to big track, long straightaways, the Caparo T1 wins hands down. However, the Caparo T1 is the fastest. I would rather have the Radical SR8. So yeah, I hope you have enjoyed the video. I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.